I hold the belief that during professional development, trainers must model for teachers 21st century best practices to take back to the classroom. The content for professional development is focused on integrating technology into daily instruction and transforming learning and teaching for today's learner. Our goal on my team working in Eden Prairie is to help teachers become future cadres. With each training, our goal is to provide new learning about tech integration and also to inspire teachers to think about new ways and how they deliver their curriculum. If you think about it, if I die, I hope it's at a really boring staff meeting where the transition to death would be so subtle. I mean, who hasn't been here before, right? Our goal was to change what professional development looked like for 21st century teacher. As a team, we researched adult learning theory and spent a great amount of time discussing what was behind solid, engaging, and inspiring professional development, while also thinking about best practices for today's learner and helping our teachers become those future leaders. Our team developed a framework we use in designing all of our trainings. Today, I'm going to share with you the essential components based upon research that we know are important for professional development in the 21st century. We're a fairly new team, and in the beginning of our practice together, we worked to come to consensus on what elements we had researched that should be included in a model for professional development. The thing that we decided on was to start off each session with a community builder. We decided to include community builders as a model for pedagogy and promoting culturally relevant teaching models. The president of the National Urban Alliance, Eric Cooper, when I asked him the question of why to do a community builder, he said that it also helps people get to know each other and break down stereotypes, thus promoting equity in our instructional practices. We agreed that community builders were important to include in our professional development and tried to connect the tech tool or the content learning to our community builder. Another element that we include in our professional development is a back channel. Think about those professional development sessions that have been successful and those that were unsuccessful where you weren't engaged. Did you get a chance to have a voice, and were you able to learn from each other's experience? Back channels are real time, typically, discussions that take place alongside an event or an activity. They provide ways to give an entire audience a voice. As we know with adult learners, having a voice makes professional development applicable and purposeful. Additionally, back channels provide a sounding board for thinking critically and asking pertinent questions. More importantly, it allows learners to connect with other learners and draw from each other's experiences. The next aspect of our professional development is to be crystal clear about what are our learning targets. From our district strategic plan, everything we do ties to student learning. For example, my job is not called a technology integrationist, but instead an iLearn specialist, because our job is not only to help with integrating the tool, but also to make sure that the tool is supporting each student's learning targets. By providing learning targets during our professional developments, we model the best practice of stating the why behind what we're accomplishing and what makes the learning relevant for our participants. Differentiation is also a key in professional development. In the research by Carol Ann Tomlinson, the three most common forms of differentiation are content, process, and product. And differentiating for adult learners is vital. Since adults are responsible for their learning, they respond fully when they feel instructors recognize their competence. Through this differentiation, their learning becomes more relevant and more rigorous. When developing our professional learning sessions, we design around both content and process. And here's an example of how we've differentiated professional development. Through the process, we decided that we would offer whole group guided instruction versus self-directed. We intentionally created presentations that can be self-guided or a traditional whole group instruction. Usually we've led participants through the learning activities, but participants who preferred to work at their own pace worked in a room with other self-directed learners, and then there was a person who was available for questions. All of the participants had access to the same resources and were reminded that our presentations always include notes and pages for future reference. One of the essential elements for a lot of our professional development is having some piece of 20% time. And my passion for 20% time developed after I started after I viewed the Daniel Pink talking about the signs of motivation. The 20% time is not actually about the number, it's about motivating adults by giving them choice in their learning and allowing them to immediately apply what their learning is by giving them the time to put it into practice and then giving them the professional development relevant to them. And one of the final pieces that we believe is important in professional development is reflection. And we know that adult learners need time to reflect and create an action plan for their new learning. All of our reflections ask about greatest learning and what they have plan to do with this learning and what teachers need support to make this happen. I believe in meeting teachers where they are, supporting them and learning in new pedagogy and tools and celebrating successes and empowering them to be leaders for others. And finally, we always like to end our professional development with a little bit of learning that's going to be inspiring. So, what will you do to make professional development more awesome?
I think we all need a pep talk. The world needs to stop being boring. Yeah, you. Boring is easy. Everybody can be boring, but you're gooder than that. Life is not a game, people. Life isn't a cereal either. Well, it is a cereal. And if life is a game, are we on the same team? I mean, really, right? I'm on your team. You're my team. This is life, people. You got air coming through your nose. You got heartbeat. That means it's time to do something. A poem. Two roads diverged in the woods, and I took the road less traveled. It hurt, man! Really bad. Rocks, thorns, and glass. My parts broke. Wah! Not cool, Robert Frost. But was there one more to pass? I won't be the one that leads to awesome. It's like that dude Journey said. Don't stop believing unless you dream stupid. Then you should get a better dream. I think that's how it goes. Get a better dream to keep going. Keep going, keep going, and keep going. Will Michael Jordan have quit? Well, he did quit. So he retired. Yeah, yes, he retired. But before that, in high school, what if he quit when he didn't make the team? He would have never made Space Jam. And I love Space Jam. What will be your Space Jam? What will you create will make the world awesome? Nothing if you keep sitting there. That's why I'm talking to you today. This is your time. This is my time. It's our time. We can make every day better for each other. If we're all on the same team, let's start acting like it. We got work to do. We can cry about it, or we can dance about it. We were made to be awesome. Let's get out there. I don't know everything. I'm just a kid. But I do know this. Everybody's doing to give the world a reason to thank us. So get to it. You just been pep talk. Create something that will make the world awesome. Play ball.